All right, so what is a training block? So we've already covered mesocycles and microcycles, but now we have a training block. So that's more of an overarching timeline of our training. And so remember, periodization is the strategic manipulation of an athlete's training through the employment of sequenced training phases defined by cycles and stages of workload. So I know that's a little bit of a mouthful, but with blocks of training, this is where we string together 2 to 4 mesocycles that share one specific unified goal. So this could be muscular endurance, hypertrophy, strength, power, speed, depending on what you are trying to train for. So organizing our training in this way allows us to have a specific outcome that actually sticks long term. So you'll see a lot of people bouncing around to different training programs or changing up their goals too quickly because they get sick or bored of doing the same thing over and over again and end up not really making a lot of progress in any direction because the different training outcomes that they start training for so frequently end up pulling themselves in opposite directions, which end up leaving them in the same place of where they started. And so there's a really good analogy from Dr. Mike Isratel that I really like, and he compares this to trying to learn multiple languages. And so if you were to try to learn Spanish, German, and Russian all at once, that would be very difficult. Probably have to divide up the days of the week learning a different language each day. And because each of those languages are so different from each other phonetically, probably end up learning very little of all 3 of those, or maybe none of them fluently, because you're spreading your resources so thin. Whereas if you were to focus on learning Spanish for 6 months and completely immerse yourself in Spanish and master it, and then once you have that down, you can move to German, do that for another 6 months, and so on with Russian. You could probably learn all 3 of those languages in half the time, in contrast to learning all 3 at once. And the same thing goes for training. So organizing training blocks with one specific unified goals allows you to learn one language at a time. It will allow you to make permanent change that actually sticks, instead of trying something for a few weeks and then switching to something else and then finding yourself in the same spot of where you started. So hope that helps.